Hello again. I'm continue my old times video series, and today's topic are, let's see, ah, team kill and chat. And I'm talking about the olden times, mm, let's say 5 or 6 years ago, about something like that. At least I don't remember exactly what was time, but olden days when I started to play World of Tanks, the team kills was possible to do. I don't say that it isn't possible to do today, but um, it's harder today to do that because in back in the day you can just shoot own teammates and that's it. And oh boy, it was very toxic and crazy time. Uh, if you didn't like someone else or you just get your mind to uh, ruin your own team's battle, you can just start to shoot your own teammates, and that's about it. That's that's not fun anymore in not in any levels. But yeah, wargaming changed it that nowadays you cannot shoot your own teammates. Um, yes, it's very good change and it's very healthy upgrade for the game. But in some point, I like the idea of the, let's say, friendly fire, which is which would be some kind of spice on the game. You know, if you are shooting enemies and suddenly your own teammates crossing front of your barrel and you shoot him, and it's let's say shit beep happens, and in that level, when it's some kind of mishap or mistake or something, it's not your purpose is not to shoot your own teammates, but it's just accident. It has some kind of mm, spice what I like, but yeah, it's better that it's that option is taken away. Another thing is that chat, where we well, one more thing about team kills. You can kill your own teammates nowadays too, but it's harder. Mm, the easiest way. This isn't not tip for you everyone to ruin somebody's play, but its easiest way is just push your own teammates to the enemy fire. It's it's easiest way, and it's don't do that. It's not fun anymore to anyone. Then the second thing is that you are pushing your own teammates over the hill or something like that. That's he's crashing, but you get that uh, blue status on you, and it freezes your game. That's it. Uh, about chat, yeah, olden days the chat was on the everybody on the battle, so you can give message to your enemies too, and it was a little bit funny and crazy too because you could give misinformation or again to be a toxic on your own teammate by giving your team's position about on that way. And yeah, it was it was crazy. I remember times when my own team was winning and mm, there was only a couple of enemies left and they are running away. It was always fun to type to the chat box that "run Forest run" or something like that. Yeah. Let's see what is next topic. No extra goodies, events, mission, blueprints, etc. Yeah. Uh, Nowadays, it's crazy how fast you can grind the tanks on the tech tree. When I'm remembering the olden times, it was way harder. And I don't mean that you don't have or you have a premium account or something like that. It there wasn't not any kind of blueprints or special missions or extra goodies that speed up your grinding. Uh, there was a top of the tree mission or some sales for it, but that's it. Not about not anything else. And I remember that my first account when I was grinding VK 4502 version R and version P, and I was heading for the tier 10 version, which was Panzerkaufbahn. What is Panzerkaufbahn? Was it? I don't remember. Can't say it anymore. But this tech tree offers that rear mounted uh, turrets tanks. They were new tanks in the game. In generally, those rear-mounted turrets was a new thing, and this tech tree was a new. And I remember that I was grinding that VK 45.02 version P. I was grinding that month. Let's say 2 to 3 months or something like that to get through that to tier 10. And now I just grinded in my newest account. I grinded that same tech tree because it was at top of the tree, and I didn't have on that that tech tree tanks at all because to be honest, I don't like heavy tanks, and most of all, I don't like slow heavy tanks. And nowadays, the armor doesn't work. I remember back in the day, for example, the VK 45.02 version B was monster in its armor. Uh, you can go on front like no tomorrow, and you are just fine. Nowadays, if you are going that like a hero on the front, and no matter what tier you are against, and they are all going through on your armor like nothing, like a hot knife to the bottom. No any kind of problems because everybody is spending gold ammunitions. And to be honest, nowadays the newest tanks, the penetration of their guns are better. And like I said in my earliest videos, that it's something what has been ruined in this game. The armor isn't anymore the most important thing. It's different kind of factors. But back in my story, uh, now it was top of the tree in this event, and I grinded VK 4502 version A and VK 45.02 version P to tier tank. So I grinded 2 tanks in 1 week. It was great. I didn't use any kind of credit boosters or experience booster or anything. I had blueprints, which I didn't spend at all. But to be honest, I was so tempted to use because I hated those tanks. I thought that this version R was bad, but oh boy, when I got this B, it was way, way much worse because it's slow. Yeah. Well, that's about it. No extra goodies in back in the day, and everything you have to spend a lot of experience and credits to get forward, and it was so much slower to go through to those tech trees. What comparing nowadays? Next topic: mods, modifications, legal or illegal. If you are wondering why I'm surprised what is my second topic, I can tell that I did that this uh, these topics I wrote it this couple of months ago, but uh, I haven't go through this, and now I'm going through this, and all these topics looks like a new thing for me. But I remember what was in my mind. So modifications. Nowadays there's this mod hoop which is under the wargaming, and it's very good thing because olden days there wasn't any kind of official uh, wargaming site or proof it modifications or not ever there was uh, on the different kind of web pages offers these modifications, and you never know for sure is it legal or illegal. Obviously back in the day like nowadays there are very obvious illegal modifications, everybody knew that, but there was a huge gray area where you don't know is it legal or illegal, and it was a tricky one. Most safest ways to use modification in that time is to use these mod packs, which are uh, well known and maybe some in some level proven to be legal modifications. So, like a solo force, I remember I used that a lot. Uh, yeah, nowadays I try to strip out those modifications, but I'm still hooked on them. There's so much good uh, tools on it. For example, battle hits, which tells where that you have hit the enemies and where the enemy has hit you on the battles, and XVM obviously, and armor inspectors and so on. Very good tools. But yeah, back in the day, you didn't know is it legal or legal to use, so it's a little bit gambling. Nowadays, at this wargaming mod hoop, it's much safer. But I know a couple of stories where when the mod hoop was started, uh, and a couple of players has, or I don't know, there are maybe plenty of players who downloaded at the first time when the mod hoop started the modification on that, and they get 7 days banning on that, or some kind of banning. I don't know if someone had permanent ban for that, but I know that some players got banned from downloading from a Wargames mod hoop. Nowadays, it probably don't happen. They have some kind of control of it. I hope so. Vehicles, yeah. This is the topic where I would easily talk about one weekend or something, because like everybody knows, there's so much vehicles on this game and so on. But in my point in this video is to remembering the what kind of meta tanks was back in the day, and what was the crazy ones, and what what tanks has been changed for good this game. And there's is clear tipping point where everything was start to go well, I like to say bad way, but let's say they changed this game for good. But let's start the crazy ones, what I remember. And the first one, well, to be honest, not the first one. The first one, which obviously it's come to my mind, was the Waffentrager E100, but it's not in this video. But it was craziest one. But second one, what comes to my mind was M41 Walker Bulldog. Well, this tank is still on the game, but back in the day it got very big twist, which make this tank not overpowered. Well, in some point of view, it make it, but uh, it was so fun to play with this gun because it offers uh, 10 shells magazine, which means it can deliver 1500 damage in under the 20 seconds. Now that's crazy. And this was some kind of uh, close combat assassin, or how you say it, whatever. But this was fun tank to play. To be honest, I like it a lot. And well, they took this gun away, and when I played this many after the many years again without this gun, oh boy, this is so sad case. It was this is very bad light thing. I don't like it anymore. A good example how uh, tanks gun can change the whole thing. Next one, uh, old meta tanks before wheeled vehicles. When we are talking about fast tanks, I remember Amx Elk was so devastating. It was so fast. It was 75 kilometers per hour, something like that. Most of the tanks was the top speed of there was something 40 or 50 kilometers per hour. When there's this little bugger which goes like hell, it was so something else. But it's funny how time changed the things, and nowadays AMX Elk is something else, but not meta anymore. In same category, AMX CDC. This was also so crazy tank. I remember the gun depression, the mobility, the gun handling, everything was godlike when we are comparing something else. Okay, it doesn't have any kind of armor, but it doesn't matter. Well, nowadays, yeah, same goes to here that this is something, but certainly not meta tank anymore. Pretty rare nowadays in the battle. I don't see this very often. I have some older account. I have this, but I haven't played this tank for many years. Uh, Object 260. Why it's here? I put it here because I remember mm, when the missions came and or campaigns came, and there was this was the last mission campaign was this Object 260 like it is like today also, but it was so hard to get. And I remember Wargaming was uh, announced or selling this whole thing that this is so rare and so special overpowered tank that only the best tankers can get it. And it was part of the truth because the tanks wasn't that effective like they are today, and the game phase was much slower. The damage wise, it was different kind of, and like I said again, the armors was working in that olden days because nobody or very few players can afford to spend gold like crazy. Uh, it was much harder to get what is nowadays, and I have put that one video where I get this tank, and I didn't even do all the missions, and I get this by using those orders. Yeah, this is pretty easy to get, to be honest, nowadays. Next, M6a2 E1. This is one kind of joke from wargaming side. This was a tank which uh, was given to the beta testers, as far as I know, and Wargaming was promising that no one else is going to never ever get this tank. Only those beta testers could have that, and they got this. And this was so rare, and there was swearing at on the Bible, almost the Wargaming, that no one never ever get this. Well, nowadays this is on sale about 2 or 3 times per year, so that's about all the rare tanks. And the same goes for everything. For example, E25, when they took it from away, they announced that it's no one never ever gonna get it. Well, now it's a couple of times per year it's on sale and so on. Well, Wargaming is money making company, so they know the strings they are going to pull. Mm, about this tank, it is very interesting. I bought this to me year or couple of no, 1 year ago, and it was a little bit disappointing because it in my mind it had so unique and legendary reputation. But yeah, it's not that bad. The armor it's pretty good for tier 8. But again, we are living in the era where everyone is spending gold. So yeah, you know how it goes. Next one is three best premium heavy tanks back in the day. First one is IS-6, Löwe, and T-34. And it's funny to watch these three tanks because back in the day this was so good tanks. So this was overpowered meta tanks. And because they are premium tanks, not everybody got them. So yeah, nowadays when we are looking, IS-6 armor layout is still pretty good, but that's about it. The gun penetration is horrible. Gun handling is horrible. No typical Russian tank. Löwe, well, to be honest, Löwe isn't that bad nowadays, but to be honest, it has lost his shine. And T-34, don't get me started. Yeah, comparing this tank to the latest premium tanks on the same tier. No, no, no. We are talking not even the same day. These tanks. And about changing the direction of the tanks, CMC 50T. This was some kind of metal tank also back in the day. It's some kind of story as this AM CDC, like I said before earlier. Uh, Good gun handling, pretty good mobility for the heavy tank. No armor, to be honest, but still good tank, overall tank. Not today. And how it has been changed, and what has been changed. Well, this kind of creature game with there was three friends, so-called friends, came same time at the premium store. Uh, this was the one of those, and it's funny see how the French tanks change it, the direction totally. We have old meta tank which have no armor, and next thing is Amx M4, which has pretty good armor even today when we are looking at it. It has some clear weak spots, cupola and the shoulders, but rest of the tank it's still hold its position for today. Next, like I said, this AMX was one of those first era tanks which has been changed in this game. Next one was Patriot, very good overall tank and still can hold the position. Not the worst one, first worst uh, target to spend bonds if you want to buy premium tank. This works just fine. I don't have it on my latest uh, account, but previous account I have it, and it's pretty good. I think it works still okay. Not a uh, brightest star, but it's okay. And one of the biggest game changers was the Rheinmetall Scorpion C. This was something. This has something characteristics what such are presented. Everything is wrong. I mean, we are talking tier 8 tank, which has roughly, let's say, tier 10 gun performance when we are talking about shell penetration, when we are talking about alpha damage and so on. Well, not tier 10, but at least tier 9 gun. The uh, tank itself, when we are talking about TD, it has 360 turret, pretty good mobility, mm, crappy camo, and very trollish gun handling. That's a bad thing. Yeah, this was something totally different. What nobody has been seen on the battle before. For example, on a tier 8 tanks, and it holds the position today. I played a lot of Scorpion C nowadays, not because it's so super good, but it's very good credit maker for me. Uh, I can't say that I enjoy a lot of this because that troll is gun handling. I mean, this should be so laser accurate, but still, when I'm aiming, and all the things are online, and I have uh, equipments and so on to build up that it should be hit just like nothing on that point where I'm aiming about, let's say, 30 seconds or something. And range for that target is, let's say, 2 to 300, and still it miss or out of bounds or something like it. It's so frustrating sometimes, this tank, but when it works, it gives so much credits that it's crazy. Next one, obviously, is Defender. The second tank which changed the direction of this game for the bad, my opinion. Um, when we are talking about Defender, we are talking about armor, and armor profile of this tank is crazy. Even today, it works. It has some weak points, but they are a little small, pretty small, and it don't have there. Yeah, well, lower blade and those cupolas, but still, overall armor layout is pretty good. And yeah, tier 8 tank should not have this kind of armor. And when I heard the latest news from mm, where I read it, somewhere in the internet, there's coming couple of more similar tanks on the war game is announcing those. They are probably under the half a year they are coming. They are pretty much some kind of armor layout that this has. Some objects, or one was the K2 and another one was object something. I can't remember. 259 or something like that. But they are coming. The whole point is that this armor is crazy, and tank itself, it's typical Russian tank. The gun handling is bad, but well, it's Russian tanks. It can surprise and work sometimes very well. Uh, well, another thing is that the gun isn't that bad in those shell numbers. Very good penetration and alpha damage, but reloading time and another gun handling specs are pretty bad. But this is the tipping point, I would say, in my point of view, this Defender and the Scorpion. After that, the, let's say, gate was open for different kind of uh, creep monsters and overpowered tanks, and More the game is announcing new same level tanks. It ruins all the tech tree tanks and ruin all the principles, or let's say balancing those tanks. That's a bad thing in these power creeps. What's are coming into the game? Next topic. Next tree. This is the last one. This video is way too long already, but let's see. Some remembering about Techtrees. When I started playing this game, Techtree looked something like that. This this is very old screen capture. Mm, I had when I started there was a 5 nation and pretty got good amount of tanks, but way less than nowadays. Uh, uh, when a couple of years passed by, mm, there was a couple of nations more, and this was very interesting screen capture because I noticed a couple of things in this. And first thing is Lorraine. Lorraine 40T, and it was Tech 3 tank, and it was tier 9 tank back in the day. Before Wargaming took it away, and surprise, surprise, announced it as a tier 8 tank, premium tank. And they didn't change the tank at all, which is very weird. I mean, um, I bought this Lorraine. It was on sale 1 year ago at the black market or where I get it, but it was cheap, so I bought it. I didn't have that earlier. Well, I had it when what it was a Tech 3 tank. Before that, Patriot 25 AP replaced it. Mm, and I haven't played after that because I didn't bought it as a premium tank. And now 1 year ago I bought it, and did it feels like a tier 8 tank after all those years? Hell no. It was it's okay tank, but it's not so good. But there's a couple of point of view what I'm trying to tell you. First is that if you want a tier 8 tank as a tier 9, sorry, another way. If you want tier 9 tank as a tier 8 tank, Lorraine is for you on the paper. But at the end of the day, it doesn't shine so well. Another thing is it's interesting to see how the tanks are getting more effective and better after all these years. When I mean that in olden days this was pretty good, and I would say that overpowered tank in the tech tree in a tier 9 tank. Nowadays, not even lower tier, it doesn't shine that well at all. It tells some kind of story how this game has been changed. Another thing what I noticed here is that there's a French TD Tech Tree tier 10 was FOSS 155. And yeah, this was Tech Tree tank in olden days. I didn't have that. I have nowadays when it's only rare premium tank or something like that. I want that, yeah, or I bought that from a black market a year ago, last year. But back in the day, it was just a regular tier 10 tank, and I remember that this was very nice way how the wargaming was handling this. If you got this in the tech tree tank and they took this away, as far as I remember, you could keep it if you wanted, and this was nice thing what the wargaming did. it didn't happen. Same for Waffentracker E100. If you got Waffentracker E100, you just have to lose it, and you get Grille for it, replace it. What next? The last thing is when we are talking about grinding these tech trees. And back in the day, there was so many routes where you can go when you are changing some special tank. What you are looking for, you have to plan your route, and in that route you have to face different kind of tank what you don't want to play at all, but you have to grind it through it. And it was something what have to in those days you have to think how you gonna, what is your strategy to go forward and so on. If you didn't have all the tanks, obviously when you have all the tanks it doesn't matter, but when you are new players like I was, I have to plan very uh, carefully what is my route and steps. If I take one route like this one, or do I start the same point and select a little different way, then I'm suddenly in totally different route and heading for a different kind of tier 10 tanks and so on. That was something what I remember that it wasn't that fun, or I have to be very careful what the route I take. Yeah. Nowadays, the Techtrees they are not so much tanks like they had back in the day, like we see in this screenshot. Most of the tanks, the wargaming was put at these collectors tanks, and yeah, you can find those, most of those special tanks, or some of those tanks over there. What was back in the day at the Tech 3? It was pretty good thing that it's my opinion that it's pretty good that they took them away and simplified these Tech 3s, and the grinding nowadays is much more clear or easier to plan. That's about it in this video. This video is way too long again. Sorry about that. Uh, I easily talk too much and so so on. But I end this in this time, and leave a comment what you are remembering all in this and how you see the changes in this game. It's obvious. It's it's obvious that game is changing, and in some point of view, it's good. But I can't help myself when I'm remembering old times, and I like to say that it in enjoyment level, it was better game, the World of Tanks, when I look in, let's say 5 or 6 years backward. That's it. Leave a comment and thank you.